The barbell is a great tool for training your strength. It's both stable and versatile. Machine weights are more stable, they'll lock you into a given range of motion. Dumbbells are more versatile. You've got two separate dumbbells, you can move them in any plane, any direction you want. Barbell is a good middle ground. So it's fairly stable in that you can lever the hands against each other, yet versatile, you can do a lot with it. So if I was doing a shoulder press, for example, I can crank the hands into a good position, lever them against each other, and press. Because of that stability it gives me, I can lift more weight with a barbell than I could with two dumbbells. But of course, dumbbells, the advantage to dumbbells is versatility. So now I've got two dumbbells. I can press one at a time, I can press both together, I can twist, I can do an Arnold press. But you'll often see people playing what I like to call the imaginary barbell game. Now the advantage with dumbbells, of course, is you don't have to do that, it's versatility. If I was lifting with a barbell, my hands would be locked in this position, or possibly in this position. Your hands are always in a certain relationship to each other. So that's a slightly limiting factor. And when it comes to shoulder presses and chest presses, you may find that dumbbells work a little bit better for you. Now when I was younger, I studied linguistics briefly, and one of the professors said, you know in Star Trek where they say to boldly go where no one has gone before? In Latin you can't do that. The word to go is one word, and you can't break one word into two words by putting another word in between. It just doesn't work. So in the English language they like to say you shouldn't do that either. They say it's bad English. When you say to boldly go, you should say to go boldly. But of course, just because you can't do it in Latin doesn't mean you can't do it in English. In English, to go are two separate words. You can put them in whatever order you want. So the point, of course, is this. Just because you have to do it a given way with a barbell doesn't mean you're locked into that same position with two dumbbells. In dumbbells, you can do something completely different if you need to. So I'll often see people training the dumbbell press with the hands this way, as if they're trying to lift one long straight bar. But the risk with that, when people have the hands strictly pronated, facing down, is if you're going to hurt yourself with a bench press, it'll usually happen in the bottom position, and it's because there's a lot of stretch, there's tension into the biceps. Now I don't know if you can see this that well, but here, biceps is shortened, palms facing towards my own shoulder. If I roll the palm down, I elongate the biceps, and if I turn the hand to face me again, I've shortened the biceps. So here, you can see the muscle ends just about an inch from my elbow crease, whereas here I turn the palm down, I've elongated the muscle. That elongates both ends of the muscle, and the top end of the biceps attaches above the shoulder. So when you elongate, you can create tension in this part of the biceps tendon, the upper part of the biceps. Now, whether you elongate a muscle, how much of a range of motion you do is relatively controversial. But if you're not sure, think about the purpose of the exercise, what it's trying to achieve, and that'll give you hints as to how you should approach it. The chest press is for working the chest, shoulder press is for working the shoulders. If you've got too much attention spent on the biceps, or if the biceps is a limiting factor, then it's not going to enable you to do the exercise with the focus you want to have. So the way to fix that, to compensate for that, is rolling the palm towards you, you shorten the biceps, you take pressure off the up end of the bicep, and you can just focus on the chest and on the exercise. So the action now, if you're twisting down the bottom and coming up and rotating at the top, resembles a fairly classical martial arts punch. And you'll actually generate force from that corkscrewing, that twisting action, which can be really useful too. Now with dumbbells, of course, as mentioned, they're more versatile but less stable. So you'll want to lift significantly less weight than you would if you're training with a barbell. If you're training for coordination and proprioception and to develop a feeling for the exercise, go real light and train real slow. You can train fast and heavy later on. There are a billion different valid methods, valid ways you can train. So when you're progressing, you're always moving from thing you can do to thing you can do. And they'll be more challenging, but you're never really pushing yourself outside of the range of things you can actually do. Now, if you change your grip, if you change the way you create or generate leverage, you might find at first it feels unnatural. There's a difference between unfamiliarity and being uncomfortable. You want something that's comfortable for your joints. If it feels unfamiliar, it'll be because the other version is more practiced. If one way is more practiced, a new way will feel unfamiliar, but that's different from whether or not it feels comfortable in your joints. So I encourage you to play around with this cautiously, don't do anything crazy. But you might find the position that's comfortable for your joints is slightly different to the position you're familiar with being in. And you might find there's a difference between how you think of the exercise in the way it's supposed to be performed and what actually works well for you and your body. So it's neither right nor wrong to align your hands in any particular way. The advantage to dumbbells is versatility, so you really can work with the movement pattern that suits you and your joints best.